Plantation, 3 months after the birth of Charles Colcock Jones, and a short time before the birth of Lizzy Jones's second son, Cato. It ends in 1869, when the entire region appeared strangely, and for the blacks, wonderfully changed. The story follows the histories of these two families and their dense networks of relatives and friends through a period of immense social, cultural, and technological transformations. These transformations and the comings and goings of plantation life for more than 60 years are seen and experienced from above in Dwelling Place through the eyes of ruling whites, and are seen and experienced from below through the eyes of resourceful slaves and freed people who struggled first against the bitter burden of slavery and then against its legacy of a powerful racism. Any history, of course, involves not only intense research and analysis, but also an act of imagination, as the facts of research are arranged and interpreted in the mind of the historian. This is true of a history of the whites of Liberty County, who left behind an extensive collection of letters and documents. An act of imagination is required to enter their world, even with all the richness of their written record, for their 19th century plantation world is distant from the largely urban world of the 21st century. The distance is perhaps most clearly felt at those points when we ask, how could they believe that? Or, how could they do that? If an act of imagination is required to enter the well-documented white world of 19th century Liberty County, much more imagination is needed to enter the world of Liberty County slaves. Their written records are few, and their voices have been for generations largely suppressed. Yet, their story has its witnesses, and the witnesses tell of slave life, of the work that slaves did, and of the community Liberty County slaves built. Some of these witnesses are found in the land itself, as archaeologists have dug in slave settlements, or as dams and dikes of old rice fields have appeared on aerial photographs. Other witnesses come from studies of other slave communities, and from the history of the institution of slavery itself. A few critically important witnesses are found in slave letters and in slave narratives from Liberty County. Most of the witnesses, however, for the family of Lizzy Jones and its network of relations and friends, come in the letters and in the plantation and court documents of white owners. This white testimony must be approached with special care, but with care and with collaboration from other sources, an imaginative leap can be made to read what James C. Scott in Domination and the Arts of Resistance calls the hidden transcripts of the slave settlements, in order to tell the story of a slave family and how they saw and experienced a time and place shared with other slaves and with the whites of Liberty County. The final presentation of one's research, writes Reese Isaac in The Transformation of Virginia, should not be primarily a record of the researcher's labors, but a persuasive reconstruction of the experiences of past actors. This is the intent of Dwelling Place. What was life like for the white Jones family and their white neighbors on low country plantations during these years? What was life like for the black Jones family and its dense network of neighbors in the slave settlements of Liberty County during these same years? And how are the lives of both whites and blacks linked and interwoven by the power of slavery and by the responses of particular men and women to that power? 1. liberty.